is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea, then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Weird News Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. You guys know what happened to me today? What happened to me today is, welcome back. Happy Monday. I hope your weekend was great. Hope you did a whole bunch of fantastic things. I genuinely hope that a lot of fantastic things happened to you. I hope they did, because it's summertime. The sun is out. Good things should be happening to good people. But I want to good things happen to everybody. But you know what? I'm not going to get into that. Listen, I was perplexed at work today. I was genuinely perplexed because I saw a guy in the break room eating a birthday cake. Now, it wasn't a whole birthday cake. It was a half of a birthday cake. He had a half a birthday cake inside of a plastic piece of Tupperware, and he was eating it with a plastic fork. There was writing on the cake, but I don't know. There wasn't enough writing left for me to tell what exactly it said on the cake. Now, you know how when you go to Safeway, if you ask for a birthday cake, they make it all cursive. Everyone wants to get everyone is a calligraphy professional at Safeway with the icing. So when they make the name, you can't really tell what it says. You just know someone is awesome at calligraphy with icing. And bless up to them. It seems like a difficult task to accomplish. However, it makes it hard to read the cake. So this guy's eating this birthday cake out of this Tupperware, and I'm just wondering, the way he was eating it with recklessly, with none of those things given about life, the way he was eating the cake, I'm wondering if it was his. Because if it's your birthday cake, I don't feel like you bring the whole thing to work. I think you bring a piece or you eat it at home. But I feel like this gentleman took the cake out of the fridge and just started eating it. I don't know if he's friends with whoever's birthday it is or was today, but I'm not going to say much about it. It's kind of one of those things where I'm not going to say it's don't ask, don't tell, but I guess it's, sometimes information is on a need to know basis. And if you're in the break room eating a whole half a birthday cake, I have a lot of questions, but I feel like all the answers to those questions are probably going to be answered on a need to know basis. And I don't think any of the information that will be given from those questions are things that I particularly we need to know. So you eat your birthday cake, sir. Happy birthday to you or whoever's birthday it was at the time. Do I or do I not have some stuff for you guys today? I hope I can get to all of it. I hope so. Just listen. I'm not going to bury the lead. A lot of times I accidentally bury the lead with you guys. Sometimes I'll go through the whole episode, giving you a little tidbit here, spoon feeding you some frosting here, giving you a little cup of honey here, and at the end, bow, Skittles, rainbows, Sour Punch Kids, a whole bunch of just pizzam. But I gotta stop doing that because sometimes the best story should go in the front. I don't even think that's sometimes. I think that's all the time in news. Don't get me wrong. I was a communication and journalism major. However, journalism was in the beginning of school, so I don't really remember it that well. But also sometimes I write these stories and then sometimes I look up the stories and I find them, and sometimes a lot of things just flow better than other ones. You know how that goes. But this time, I'm not going to bury the lead for you guys. This is what we got today. Listen, turns out octopi are actually aliens. I got a fugitive that butt dialed the police by accident, got arrested. I have an Iowa man who claims that his dog shot him. I have a mummified monkey that was found that's been in a oh my God. Did I just stutter that badly? Did I really do that? I'm so excited. I have a monkey that was mummified because he was found in a vent. He's been there since the 50s. But the story of the day is this. And I really want to save this to the end. But I'm not. I'm going to do this for you guys right now. And if I don't make it to the rest of the stories, then so be it. But this is what's on my mind right now. You may have noticed in the title. Is $35,000 enough? Is $35,000 enough? And well, you're like, well, for what, Ryan? Well, for what? I'm just asking you, is it enough? I want you to think about your current bills and think about your current situation. I just want to know, is $35,000 enough? And you're like, well, of course it's enough, Ryan. I can do a lot of stuff with that. But I ask you this, is $35,000 enough for one of your body parts? Oh, yeah, the plot just thickened. What body part will you give away for $35,000? And I understand this question is relative, right? Because depending on what your situation is, you may give away a pinky for $35,000. Depending on what your situation is, you wouldn't give away a tooth for $35,000. Some people wouldn't give away a tooth that was going to get pulled anyway for $35,000 because they feel like it's part of them. So we all have different goals and different situations based on what type of body part we would give for $35,000. So I ask you again, I want you guys to think about this really hard. What body part? Think about two of them. Which one would you give for $35,000? Which two would you give? If you're like, all right, I'll give this one. They're like, nah, we don't want that one. You're like, okay, I'll give this one. Which one would it be? Are you guys ready? All right, listen. So apparently there's a place that will give you $35,000 if you donate one of your testicles. You only got to give them one. You only have to give them one. A Las Vegas man went through with this and he decided to donate one of his testicles for $35,000 and they replaced it with an artificial one. Turns out it was reported he used the money to buy a 350Z. He bought a car with the money. Here's my question, or here's like, I don't know, how do I say this? I'm not judging anyone that sells their body parts. I'm okay with it. Actually, you know what's strange is that like selling your body parts are illegal, but then donating things to science and getting money for it's okay. Like in this same article, I'm gonna do this another day. I'm gonna give you guys a little tidbit. In the same article, it says you can like be a sperm donor and they'll give you like $50 to $200 for like your stuff, right? But I mean, you can't just sell a baby though, right? But you can just sell your peoples. It's weird, but $35,000 for me personally, it's not enough. Like I wouldn't do that for that amount of money. $35,000. I don't want to sound bougie because I'm not a boss, but that's just not enough money. That's not enough money for me to give you a part of my body that's like inside. It's crazy. I may need that for something. I may need two of them. From what I gather, you'll need both. A couple of my friends saw this story. I asked them how they felt because I wanted to get another perspective on it. I had two friends that said they would do it for $10,000. $10,000? Really? I mean, it's one of those things where like they have to go inside of you and they're going to just take part of your body. And the rest of your time you just won't have that anymore. Let's make this, let's sweeten this deal for you guys. Let's sweeten this deal. I'm not going to say, would you do it? I'm going to say, if you had to do it, what would you do? That's a better question. If you had to sell a body part for $35,000, what would it be? Like if you had to, that's a choice. They say, pick a body part and we'll give you $35,000 or we're going to push you off this cliff. You have to choose now. You don't have any time to call anybody. You don't have a lifeline. You don't get to Rochambeau. No, you don't get to have a little break to go chase Pokemon and clear your brain. No, you have to pick right now. Which would it be? Me personally, if I had to choose one, I guess, what do you not need? Your kidney or something? Your appendix? I think you don't need your appendix, right? Can't that burst? There's no reason to have that. I guess I'd sell that. I mean, I guess. And if they would let me sell that, I guess I'd sell a pinky toe. But who wants to walk around 4 toes? Apparently that's going to affect my balance, right? I don't know. But I found it interesting that when I got to the end of the story, the guy went off and bought a car. Now, I could see, I guess my understanding would be like, I'd have a better understanding if he did that because, I mean, maybe he was in debt or like had to feed his family or something. But to trade your body part for a car, to me, that just seems irresponsible. Like that just seems, and it just goes to show it's not enough money because you're going to pin $35,000 on this car and then drive the car around for what, 2-3 years to look cool. And then after 2-3 years go by, part of your body is missing still. I don't know. Maybe it's shallow of me to think of it like that, but I just think I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't do it. But we all got different goals and situations, right? Everybody has their price. Because they're like, Ryan, you got to give us one, and we'll give you 10 million. Okay, fine. For 10 million, fine. You can have. I still have to think about it, because I don't want to sell part of my body. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Now, for those of you that do want to do it, trust me, I will not judge you. I will not judge you at all. If you have to leave, if you're listening to this show right now and you're driving to the donation center and you got your pants off and you're ready to knock this whole thing out, I will not judge you at all. I will not. No. You do what you got to do. And if you want to go buy a Nissan Coupe, fine. Go ahead and do that. I'm not going to be the one to judge you. All I'm saying is just know your cost, know your price, and know your cost. You do that. Know your price and know your cost. This is what we're going to do. When I get back from this commercial break, I'm either tell you guys about this monkey mummy, or I'm going to tell you about the fugitive that butt dialed the police and got arrested. One or the other. I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. So, as promised, we're going to decide between the monkey mummy or the butt dialing fugitive. Apparently, after taking a vote with my producers and everyone on my staff, record label, and crew, we have decided to go with the fugitive that butt dialed someone. Why? I'll tell you why. A lot of these stories that I tell you guys about, they tend to be stories none of us could relate to. They're like, who will go in an aquarium and steal a fish and put it in their pants? Or who will break into their drug dealer's house through the chimney and die in the chimney? Or who would break into a stall and sexually assault a horse? All those stories are like that. Not all of them, but a lot of them are like, who would do that? But I feel for this guy. Fugitive Jesse Graham accidentally butt dialed 911 while he was on the run. Now, I can personally relate to this. And for people that are like, well, how did he butt dial 911 and then they found him? Well, I'm going to tell you why. If you've never ever butt dialed somebody before, this used to happen more when the phones had buttons. I know there's some young people listening to this that have phones that never have buttons. But back in the day when you had a Nokia, you had to push menu and star for the keys to lock. If you didn't push menu and star for the keys to lock, the phone wouldn't lock. So we just call people. But some of us butt dial people now. You ever messing with your phone, texting or whatever, then suddenly you forget to lock it. Your thumb does when you put your phone in your pocket. It calls someone. Yes, that'll happen to you too. That's why when I'm out doing things I shouldn't be doing, and when I don't want to contact people, I just turn my phone off. I just turn it off because I don't even want to risk my phone even contacting somebody while I'm out doing what I'm not supposed to be doing. Have you ever called someone accidentally because of a text message? Like you're in the text, you put your phone away, something that happens, and next thing you know, the phone is ringing. Has that happened to you? Yes, it's happened. So I feel for Jesse. Accidentally presses the 911 key. His phone was probably locked, but I know that if your phone is locked, it'll still dial 911 in case someone finds it that is in trouble. So I don't know if he escaped or if he was on bail. They didn't get that much into it. But maybe Jesse just got out of jail. Maybe Jesse Graham just got out of jail and he doesn't know how these phones work. Oh, I'll just lock it. That's how we did back in my day. He's doing some dirt, dials 911. He's telling his boy, hey, man, I just escaped from jail. You know how I escaped? Jumped over the fence. I ran a little bit before I jumped over the fence. I got a whole bunch of mattress towels. I got a whole bunch of linen. I tied them together, threw them out of my window. I climbed down, sprinted to the wall, jumped over the wall. All right before the dogs started coming. My name is Jesse Graham and I broke out of jail. What? Told his boy that whole story? All while the 911 operator is listening like, I'm gonna write this down. See? And that's what happens. So whenever you're involved in anything that you think is gonna happen, whenever you're involved in anything that you shouldn't be doing, just check your phone. Just check your phone, because the most embarrassing thing to happen, actually, the most embarrassing to happen is to escape from jail and then butt dial the police and they show up to where you're at, and while your phone is still on. That's pretty embarrassing. But something else is really embarrassing is when you butt dial like someone and everything that you do and say ends up on their voicemail, and they hear everything that you do and say. And yeah, it can happen. But here's the thing. Luckily, when that's happened to me, it hasn't ever been anything where it's been, let's say, an incriminating situation. It's never been that. It's been one of my boys like, hey, man, did you call me? Like, yeah, I did. Sorry, but hey, were you blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I was doing that. Delete the voicemail. Don't worry about any of that business. But can you imagine going back to jail and like, hey, Jesse, how'd you get caught? You had an awesome plan. We were all going to copy your plan. We've been writing blueprints to your plan. Somebody's going to teach a class on your plan of how to escape from jail. We're running it at nighttime when the guards aren't paying attention. You're like, yeah, well, when I got out, Mike gave me his phone, and the way the lock is on the phone called 911. And they're like, wait, what? Wait, what do you mean the phone called 911? Well, the phone was in my pocket, right? And what ended up happening was I had a quarter in my pocket, and then when I reached to get the quarter, there was a possibility that one of my knuckles had touched the phone in the 9, the 1, and the 1 again, and then it kind of called it. Are you telling me you reached in your pocket for a quarter and you accidentally dialed 4 buttons and it called 911? This is why you're in jail? Yeah, so let's just not make too big of a deal of it because I'm pretty sensitive about that right now. So no. This is not the time to be sensitive. You talk all this mess about how you were going to escape from jail, and now you're back in here because you don't know how to work a cell phone. You need to be in jail. And then he gets in the big fight, and then he ends up going in the hole. So, long story short, you guys got to be careful with these phones. Be careful, because you have to be careful, because the phone is not something that will not turn on you. You guys think that Siri and Alexa and Jeeves are your best friends? No, they will turn on you. Apparently his phone turned on this guy. I don't even know if he dialed the number himself. How do we know Siri just didn't know he didn't escape? Right? Because you say, okay, Google, or hey, Siri, can you tell me what time it is? And they know what's popping. How do you know that Siri doesn't know the situation? You say, Siri's like, I don't think that Jesse Graham is supposed to be out of jail this early. According to my records, directed directly the state penitentiary, his release date isn't until February 16th, 2019. Siri notices a problem. Siri's going to contact the authorities. And Siri called the police on him. But the problem is, maybe we're not supposed to know that. Conspiracy theory. Maybe we're not supposed to know that. And maybe the story's been released to just say that he dialed them. But for all we know, the phone man just snitched on him. Message. Mind blown. Bow. Also, speaking of technology, I told you guys about a while ago about how there's not going to be a zombie apocalypse. And they've been trying to scare us with this whole zombie apocalypse thing. That's not going to happen. Don't be concerned about that. What's going to happen is going to be a robot apocalypse, similar to like on Terminator. They made this robot just the other day, not the one that I told you guys a while ago about a robot that could do backflips. They made him. They made this dog robot that could like open doors. But they recently created this robot that could play lacrosse. He can run with a stick and play lacrosse. What? Wait, what is it? No. Oh, I'm sorry. He can run with the stick and he can play soccer. Not run with the stick. He can play soccer. I'm sorry. Got my sports confused. He can play soccer. The robot can play soccer. Now, if you know the type of like running and cutting and like strategy and endurance is involved in soccer, one can imagine that if this robot was to create other robots like him, then the end of the human race is upon us, right? Like, I'm just saying, if all the money is through Bitcoin and all the money is digital, and Siri and Google, we could tell them what to do. And Jeeves, is Jeeves even still a thing? Do you know? Is it still? No, it's not. Okay, fine. Jeeves isn't even still a thing, but he's out there somewhere. Now, if we got these robots running and playing soccer, and we have to talk to the phones, get them to do stuff, and the phones are calling the police on us, and all the money is through some type of blockchain and Bitcoin, the end of the world is upon us. Well, not upon us, probably like 30, 40 years from now. So we will be cool. But all those, so anyway, that's my, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. So don't be concerned about the zombie apocalypse. Just don't have your TV connected to your phone. Cause I think that's the beginning. I don't think you need all that. Just use the remote. I'm going to take a quick break. And when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about this monkey mummy, or I might tell you about the dog. You know what? This is what we're going to do. It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to take a break. And when I get back, you guys are going to hear one of these awesome stories, but don't go anywhere. And if your car is connected to your TV and your doorbell and your phone, you're signing up for the apocalypse. Be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network. So, check this out. There was a guy, an Iowa man. He was at home. He has a Labrador pit bull. He's playing with his dog. His dog was on his lap. He threw you know how people play with like large animals. They jump up on them, throw them down, jump up on them. Like, I don't know. I've seen dog people do this with massive sized dogs, right? The dog was on me, like push the dog down on off the couch. The dog jumps on him and a gun goes off and the guy gets shot in the leg. He says that when the dog jumped on him, the safety came off of the gun and the gun went off and shot him in the leg. Okay. So I don't, maybe because this is Iowa, in different places, different things happen. And I'm just going to say this. If you're in California and like you accidentally shoot yourself because of your dog, I have a feeling that people aren't going to accept that. People, they're not going to accept that the dog shot you. They're not. It's not going to happen. And there's other states too where you're not just going to pin a crime on a dog. You can't just all willy-nilly say, hey, you know what? my dog was playing and he shot me. No. There are certain states that just won't let you blame an animal for things like that. And me personally, I'm not gonna hold back on this. I don't believe him. But it's a good story. Because a while ago there was a football player who was inside of a car, shot himself in the leg. He ended up being arrested for gun charges because he didn't have a permit for the area he had the gun in. Isn't it crazy how important a piece of paper is? It's crazy. It's not even crazy. I think it's interesting. It's interesting how important a piece of paper is in like locations, right? You can be, this was in New York, by the way. You can be in one place and shoot yourself in the leg and get arrested for shooting yourself in the leg in your car. But if you have a piece of paper that says you can have this gun in your house and you're just being reckless with your dog and your gun is in your waistband for some reason while sitting on the couch and you shoot yourself, then it's funny. What? I have a question. I'm not a gun guy, so I don't know. Maybe this is like a thing. And this is how you learn stuff. You learn things by asking questions. If you're at home just hanging out with your dog, why is your gun on your lap? Why is it? Where are you about to go? Are you Liam Neeson? Are you Jack Bauer? What are you doing? What's going on? Like, is that how y'all rock in Iowa? Is that what happens there? Because let me know. I don't mind the information. Please let me know. I'd love to know. I would love to know if that's just a normal thing. People just sitting at the house, hanging out, wearing a tank top, in some pajama pants with your slippers on, hanging out. just Sunday living at like 2 p.m. with your gun just in your waistband. Is Iowa that type of place where you just got to be ready where someone may just run up on you? You got a pit bull mixed with Labrador and the gun in your waist. So you have a really, really smart dog combined with a dog that's smart and like really aggressive. Plus you have the pistol in your waistband at like 2 p.m. on a Sunday, just in case somebody would. Now I have a question. In this particular part of Iowa, are you telling me that like it's that dangerous there, or are you telling me that you just get down like that? Is that just your speed? Because you know how there are certain things that don't belong in certain places, but that's just somebody's speed. Like, let's say you live in the suburbs and someone has a massively just big truck. They have a big, huge truck. No. That makes sense because the suburbs is usually the orchards and things around. Say somebody lives in the city and they have this huge truck, a huge like monster truck that looks like it's for basically doing stuff in the orchards and things. You're like, hey, that doesn't look like it belongs here. Hey, man, that's just my speed. That's just how I get down. All right, cool. No judgment. Or say you see somebody dressed like a pirate. You're like, hey, man, are you going to some type of pirate ship? Are you going to Tampa Bay? Are you going to Pittsburgh? Are you going places where there's going to be pirates? No, this is just how I get down. I like to dress like a pirate because it's Tuesday. All right, cool. That's your speed. Now, if you just have a gun in your waist and like in like a purebred half-breed wild dogs in your house, is that just your speed, or is Iowa in a situation? Is Iowa having a crisis? Does Iowa have dirty water? Do we need to send the president to Iowa? I want to know what's happening in Iowa. This is how people have to live. This is a dangerous situation. I don't believe his dog shot him overall. That's where we're at. That's where we're at with you guys. I don't mean to be, I do mean to be facetious. I really do. Cause no, I don't mean, this isn't me being facetious. I'm not being condescending. I don't believe his dog shot him. When I saw the story, I opened it, was like, really? I didn't even have to read it all the way. I just read the title and was like, I don't even believe this. And I opened it and read, I was like, no, I have to share this with my GSMC Weird News staff, record labeling crew. I have to share this. And that's where we're at. And I don't believe that dog did it. The dog was framed. Luckily, the dog is out on bail because I guess the owner didn't want to press charges against the dog, so everything's going to be fine. But I feel like if charges were pressed on the dog and then he was in jail, in doggy jail, and he was like, and people were concerned, like, do all dogs go to heaven? What's going to happen to him? Is he going to get death penalty? I think people from California would have went to Iowa to go march and just make sure that this dog made it out, because I don't believe that he did it. He doesn't even have thumbs. He doesn't have thumbs. So if you don't have thumbs, there's not a lot of things you could do, especially if you had thumbs and sold them for $35,000 each, because you wanted $70,000. You could buy two 350Zs. Listen, I appreciate you hanging out with me again. I genuinely do. I miss you guys every week, and I always 100% appreciate you tuning in. Live long, prosper, watch out for potholes.